Basically, each presenter will have 15 minutes for the presentation, okay, and 3 minutes for the questions and answers, okay. So when you give the presentation, your screen will be pinned on the screen along with the chairperson's screen and also the secretary's screen, okay. And when you reach 12 minutes, our secretary will show you the sign, okay. And when the time's up, our secretary will also show you the signs, all right. Okay, so now without further ado, everyone, let me invite the first chairperson for our first session. Okay, and again, let me invite Professor Dr. Hashita Anit Harun to be our chairperson for the first session here. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much to the moderator.
Yes.
I am chairing for 3 papers, I believe.
Yes.
So we have 3 presenters today or for my session here, and each presenter is given 20 minutes, correct? Right. So
yes.
Yes, correct.
15 minutes for the presentations and 3 minutes for the Q&A session.
Okay, so
yes.
the secretary there will mark the
yes.
time, right? Okay,
yes.
good.
Yes.
So 15 minutes. Can I just introduce the first speaker, who is Abhinan Wongkittiporn from College of Liberal Arts, Rangsit University, Thailand, with the title Semantic Interpretations of Existential Constructions in an English Novel. Please, you can start now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Everybody, can you see my slide?
Yes, yes, clearly.
Okay. So thank you very much. The title of my study today is about semantic interpretation of existential deconstruction in English novel, right? So basically, semantic interpretation is about the meaning, right? And today I'm going to focus on the construction, which is existential deconstruction, right? And we use English novel because we believe that this kind of reading material is suitable for everyone, and it is available in every house, right? So with the introduction, right, we all know that English, right, is an SVO language, subject, verb, and object, right? So when we're studying writing a sentence, right, missing the subject, right, could lead to ungrammaticalities, right? So when we move the content in the subject to the final position, right, we usually replace them by there, right, in order to fill this slot with the subject positions, right? So with the problem of the study, according to Lee 2011, right, they said that EFL and ESL learner have some difficulty in using existential deconstruction. Through his experiment, right, the paralinguistic judgment of 5 scale, right, something like very good, good, okay, poor, something like this, right, this kind of judgment, right, asks EFL and EFL learner to judge the token, right, that is a friend of yours at the doors. Again, that is a friend of yours at the door, right? And with a judgment that show that this token is 3.33% correct. When we see this empirical evidence, right, we're not quite sure whether with this 3% out of 5, they actually know about this construction or not. It's kind of in between whether they know and they don't know, right? That's why it's come to this construction, because we would like to help students in the context of EFL and ESL learner to understand better how to use this construction appropriately and accurately. So with this information is come to the research questions, right? What is the frequency of the existential deconstruction in an English novel. Okay, and what are the semantic interpretation of the existential deconstruction in an English novel? Basically, which means that if you want to use this construction, right, this syntax in English, what kind of meaning do you fill in the slot in the final position? Okay, Bradford 2009, right, talking about extended projection principle or EPP feature. What does this mean by EPP feature? It means that, okay, in the DP slot, right, in the spec T position, which is given here in English, right, you need to find the subject to fill in, right? But if you move this one to the final position, right, to be a gift on the shelf, right, you need to find, right, expletive it or existential there, right, to fill in the slot here, right, into the spec T position, right? So when the DP subject is landed in the final position of the sentence, X must be the linguistic element to fill in this position. Okay, so when and why, according to Rachel Lewis, Gecko and Biner in 1995, they said that we use existential deconstruction to fill in a new information. For example, I invite you, come and sit here, and I introduce, there is a cup of tea for you, right? This is a new information to introduce to listener, right? We use when we would like to introduce list of things, right? Such as there is the park, very nice restaurant, and the library, right? This kind of list of things, 1, 2, and 3, okay? Maybe this is quite long, right? And in English, we do not put long or heavier information in the slot of the subject, basically. So the third one is that we use existential, right? The subject there to describe reason, right? We've canceled the ski trip. We've been planning for months. Why aren't you going? We want to, but it's the damn case and would make traveling difficult. So this one we provide in 5C, right? We give a reason for canceling a ski trip. Next one, right? So we provide information at the end to correspond to the end weight principle, which means that, okay, it's common for English to put long and heavier information at the end of the sentence, as in there are 3 colors of ribbons, including red, golden, pink on the table, right? This kind of chunk is pretty long and heavier. So we decided to put them at the end, right? And then we add the existential deconstruction at the subject, right? So with the previous study, right, they investigate this kind of construction in different participant and text variety. For example, Houghton 2018, right, used 900 American English speaker, investigated the use of non-agreement subject, right? That is with non-agreement, right? There is 3 cups on the table or something like it, non-agreement subject, and there are with agreement subject. And the results show that socio-linguistically, this participant judge those who use that is with non-agreement subject as educated and intelligent user. So for this one, right, they study the existential deconstruction, right, with Japanese speaker, right? With that investigation, it's found out that Japanese speaker only use existential deconstruction with proper noun, right? Proper noun. So when it's come to this study, right, we use Dostoevsky, right, the novel called Crime and Punishment, the Gamble Note from Underground, right, due to it is the bestseller novel, right, and it is recorded as World Classic Library according to Amazon.com, right, best of the best selling, right, apart from that one, because we choose this one because the content is suitable for everyone to read, right? Okay, the content is suitable for everyone. When it's come to the data collection of the study, right, we can collect 37 relevant sentences, right, in this novel, right? Okay, and this is kind of show the process of data collections, right? And when we say token, right, of existential data construction, we refer to sentences, right, from the start to the stop, right? And we count this token as one sentences, right? And we get 37 relevant sentences in this pilot study. So with this 33 relevant sentence, right, we use the framework belong to Ladford 2016 and Gregory and Biner 1995. Okay, with this framework, right, we got the subjectivity, right, referring to opinions, right? He said, hopefully, and there is nothing in it at all to worry about. Opinion, attitude, point of view, comparison, right? Look at the old woman was in hurry to get away, as though there was still something he wanted to do, but he did not himself quite know what. Description, right? There are 2 stories of rooms. That's by the merchant called Yushin. List of things, right? There are nothing in the room except 2 chairs and a sofa covered with American leather, full of holes before which stood an old kitchen table, unpainted and uncovered. Reason, right? There were various other reasons, only 2, which Dunier could not escape from the awful house for another 6 weeks, right? With this kind of framework and data analysis, right, we get this result according to this framework, right? We get the high frequency in this study is subjectivity, right, which is 51.35, right? The second one, which is pretty high, right, is comparison, which is 21.63%. When it's come to description, it's 10.81%, right? And we got list of things and listen at 8.110 each, okay? And it's total of 100%. So let's describe why this phenomenon happened. Okay, so you can see that the semantic of interpretation of subjectivity, which refer to the protagonist, right, the character, attitude, point of view, who providing comment, is the higher frequency, such as I'm confused, and that is a lot I don't understand, right? When the writer present the attitude, right, subjectivity play an important role in doing it. See, subjectivity refers to the speaker comment or judgment toward information. It also allows the reader to know the protagonist's opinion, right? Kind of the writer want to show what protagonist thinking, what do they thinking about via the writer's comment. Okay, the second one, right? The second highest, the second place of frequency is comparison. Okay, all in one bunch are still ring, and there is one key there that's as big as all the other with the notch. That can't be the key of the chest of drawer, right? So Using comparison could help reader see picture. Agree with me? If you use comparison in no way, right? The reader could use their imagination to see the picture clearer, and that is the part of entertainment. Right? And the next one is that the use of list of objects in existential dare construction go along the same line with Gregory and Biner in terms of cognitive linguistic theory of end-weight principle, that you press heavier and longer object to the end of the sentence, right? There were wine glasses nearly empty, bottle of vodka, bread and cucumber, glasses of drink and stale tea, right? Long and heavier information at the end. This leads to the conclusion to answer what are the semantic interpretation of existential dare construction in English novel. The writer used existential dare construction as protagonist subjectivity, right? Also interesting to find existential dare construction for the sake of comparison, right? To boost up and better visualization of scene in the story, right? And then if the information is long and the reader want to read it, right, they can read it themselves at the end or the final position. So more data could be added in order to make the result become more generalizable, right? With the next study of existential dare construction in other text varieties, such as applied linguistic article, could contribute something new to the field. And these are the references. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. I haven't actually been reading work on semantic interpretations for a long time, so this is actually a breath of fresh air. So thank you very much, and particularly for this particular novel. So that's very, very interesting. Can I just ask one question before we go to the audience and see if they have any other questions? You use a particular framework to explain existential there semantically. Do you think the same framework can be used for to explain similar words in other languages functioning the same as existential there?
Yes, I think for other languages, right, I think that it depends, right, whether but according to your binary principle, or whether your language require to have the subject or not.
Right.
For example, in English, right, subject is very important. And then there are only 3 cases that we can omit subject, right? Imperative, non-finite clause, and truncation when you write the diary, right? That's why we need existential dare in that position. And we can see that which information we press at the end. Right. But another thing that I would like to add is that if you apply this framework with other document that I'm doing now, with apply certain linguistics, right? You got another kind of result.
Right.
Right.
So maybe that can be your next research, to see existential there in scientific journals, maybe, and see, what happens.
Yes, because we need to help the student that, okay, we teach them, right? Because English is the subject that is the language that subject is always required. But sometimes we missing subject, and which kind of element we can fill in that position. And if when we move, right, the information or the meaning to the end, right? So which kind of information you can put in that slot?
Sure. Wonderful. Clear explanation. Thank you. Do we have questions from the audience? No? And I think people can actually get in touch with Mr. Abhinan if you have any more questions. I enjoyed reading your paper, coincidentally. So well done. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. So now we